set up we just got the PRs for 3 locations, South Street, Shady Lane, and Wesleyan. We need to have an executive meeting closed. We could discuss right of ways and possibly land acquisition, so. What date would you like to set up for that?
Why is it closed?
Because it's discussing land
If
acquisition.
it involves, don't you think we should, the towns, the whole residents back there should have a say so?
And it will, but this is, they give us 3 options on each one. So you don't wanna go throwing out 8 options and then try and get the whole town to decide on one. So as a council, we'll get together and narrow it down, so we got 3 options, 1 for each area.
How do you know what to narrow down if you don't have the input from the people who live there?
Well, you have an engineering company that studied this to.
Well, there's not all the options on there, and the engineering company was handpicked by you and you directed
That was
them
not
actually.
handpicked.
Yes, it
not
was.
correct.
It was too. It's the first thing, they've never worked in this town in their life, and the first time when you're trying to take my land over, steal my land, you handpicked them out.
This is the meeting we're having,
Just
so.
wrote the letter.
We just want to have a discussion, John. Just want
Oh, yeah, I know the
And he just said
discussion,
you
you
should
narrow
pick
it
it.
down without all these people out here.
Just a discussion. Public meeting.
Well, then why not have it with the people that are involved that are living there?
Talk amongst ourselves.
You're talking about land acquisition stuff, like, you have to, you have to have a basis.
Joe, can they do that? Can they do that without, this is taking people's land. This is first of all, we got a big conflict of interest. Ashley and I hate each other practically, and he picks out the engineer that's going to steal our land, okay? And then I have to go and have a lawyer direct mail so that I can even get the email from the engineer, because he's only going to send it to you, and he refused to send it to me. Yes, he was. He told me himself. I had to argue with him 4 different times on the phone.
The board
And
hired.
so I had the lawyer email him a letter that it should be sent to all of us and not just you, actually. So Ashley wants to take over part of our land and take it, and he's got the guy that talks to the engineer, that picked out the engineer. I think that's a big conflict of interest to start with. Why not use BF&S or somebody else that we've used before? You know, this is a conflict of interest, Ashley. Everything's going to find it in a big lawsuit here. And now you're talking about stealing
Everything's
two
a
of our,
conspiracy.
Aaron, you're talking about stealing two of our pieces of property, Mike. Stealing 2 of our pieces of property.
No.
You know? I want to move my fence over 8 foot, and he throws a fit for 2 years. You're going to steal it, Mike. That's what you propose, stealing my property.
Why not have a public meeting?
Yeah, why not have a public meeting?
There will be a public meeting.
After we
You just said
decide,
after you narrow it down.
decide, that's their
Why not have one
operation here.
before
They'll
you narrow
decide
it down?
first and then have that public meeting. And then
Why
you guys
is he
will have
giving
a
you all
say
the
so.
options if you're not gonna let the general public see all the options?
Yeah, why even give the options?
Shouldn't the public have a say in it?
Yes.
Can I make a comment as a citizen in this town? Sure. We elected these people. We elected this council. They are saying they want to meet, they want to have a conversation, and bring forward information for the rest of us. I
They
think
said they're
that-
gonna narrow it down.
Excuse me? Excuse me, can I finish my statement and then you can get up and
I
talk?
stopped talking.
Sir, please.
I stopped talking.
I think we should allow them to have a private meeting, to have a conversation. I've been coming to these council meetings on a regular basis for as long as I've lived in this town. And only recently have I heard how important it is to have the people be talking. And I think it has a lot to do with how people perceive what's happening. I know there's animosity in this group. I witnessed it, I've complained about it before. Bottom line, they are our elected representatives. They get to vote, we get to hear what they're saying, but they get to make the decision.
And we get to comment.
when it's your
Yes, we
turn.
We all get to comment when it's our turn. They're bringing forward something they want us to comment on. And I think that's a reasonable approach in this particular situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Now,
Yeah. Let's wait. We're not open for public
you
discussion.
let her talk.
Yes.
You gotta have everything open.
We will have the residents.
Oh, so you just pick and choose who is
Yeah,
okay to
that's
talk?
what I gotta do on a.
I see that.
When you're up here, you can do it.
Could I say
So
something
she gets to
here?
talk and she doesn't?
Could I?
You will all get to talk in a minute.
But what about she just gotta
He
talk?
said in a minute,
And I
Don. He said in a minute.
recognize her.
Oh,
Okay.
so it's up to you,
Just
huh?
call
Exactly.
it.
So that's how it goes, the people don't count.
Marshall.
Marshall?
Not to
So
do.
when
One
can
more
they talk,
time.
Mike? When can they talk?
When it comes to the residents, we will talk about it. Right now, we're trying to decide on when to have the meeting.
Yeah,
And
but-
then you can
Okay,
cry and whine about it all you want.
I'd like to, well, I don't wanna whine and cry because it is my
It's all you
land
do.
they're
Okay.
stealing, okay, Mike?
When are we having the meeting?
Listen, could we have a discussion about it?
When did you make a
We're,
decision?
that's
I
what,
think-
that's what we're setting the meeting up for, is have a discussion about it, Ron.
It should be an open
Well,
meeting.
this is, I think this is a case where it's really a
No,
conflict
Ron,
here of
listen,
interest.
listen, Ron. The reason for this meeting is so we can discuss it without all this. And then we can bring it to them and present it to them. You can't get nothing done when it's going like this, Ron.
Well, the
So let's
options,
just
the options
have a
on,
meeting.
the options on that thing
You'll
is
be there to-
taking our land, so.
to say whatever you want.
The options on this thing is taking our land, so I guess.
All right.
16th? That's a Thursday, if that works. Does that work? Or you want it the 13th, here? 16th? That'll give us, what's gonna happen?
6 o'clock or so.
6? Is that all right? That could be, what is okay?
Six.
16th of August at 6.
All right. Any other new or old business?
Greater Lafayette, everybody else says that.
All right. Comments from the residents?
And we're gonna have a 5-minute. Cindy Marsh, 749 Shady Lane. First of all, somebody very wisely at a previous meeting pointed out that 2 of the people on the council here have conflicts of interest and should not be discussing this in any way, shape, or form as board members. And I'll go one step further than that. I completely agree with what he said, but I think the 3 of you should not be discussing it either, because we all know, it's very obvious that you just jump when Ashley tells you to jump. So you all have a conflict of interest, you're all, it is most certainly true. And you're all vindictive and retaliating against us. The meeting that you just scheduled, Mike, should be an open door meeting. And Joe, what rule, there's very limited rules where they can have executive sessions, which,
And the discussion over the acquisition of land.
okay,
is
there's
one of
no, but there's no land being acquired because there's no decision on what option. There's 3 options.
them. Well, I have advised them that this meeting is legally
Okay,
sound. Have another one of your lawyers write me.
there'll be a complaint.
Well,
I
don't
may
do it
just
wrong
have
in
to
the
do
first
that,
place.
Joe,
Yeah,
so
why
we
try
can
to
see
hide it?
black legal representation here. I'll be sure someone files a complaint with public access council about that. And but you explained to me, how is there not conflicts of interest here?
there are deliberate and obvious conflicts of interest that these people, none of you should be engaged in this. If there's gonna be anything done to any road in this town, it should be after a new board is seated and not when this group here is
So
seated.
every road that was blacktopped, all the concrete
You know,
work
the
was done.
controversial
Cut
stuff.
in there 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mike. And I just hardly,
You're talking about the controversial stuff.
yes. As far as, any changes to Shady Lane, of course, I know how much you guys, consider petitions, but there is a petition, I don't know if we want to give it tonight or if we want to wait, that is signed by most everyone on Shady Lane with a couple of exceptions that you can probably name, and a lot of other people in town, and there will be more. I don't know what your deal is on South Street, but the whole thing is just so obviously, as somebody said to me, it's so obvious what's going on here with Ashley's land grab that even a blind person can see it. And I agree.
Thank you. Anyone else?